Hey guys, it's Mike Panda, Mining Warrior Martial Arts, and I thought I'd just take the time on this very, very cold Texas afternoon. If you guys are following the news, you'll know that we're stuck in this big winter blast, and Texans aren't really used to that. But I want to make this quick video since I'm home for the day. I thought I would make this video to talk about a topic that I think is very relevant and very important to a lot of my fellow Asian Americans and Filipino Americans out there. And it's this rise in violent attacks towards Asians and Asian Americans here in America, okay? Now, when I read a lot of these attacks, and I see footage of these attacks, there's a lot of surveillance footage about showing elderly Asian couples being beaten, attacked in different major cities, or even younger Asian students, Asian American students on college campuses being attacked. I look at these videos and I read the articles, and I think there's a lot of political rhetoric that kind of goes into the presentation of these articles and these videos. Just for the record, I'm not going to go into that because I'm not a political analyst. I'm a martial arts and self-defense instructor. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. And my goal is to simply just help my fellow Asians and Asian Americans here in America feel a little bit safer and also just be safer, okay? And now if it's your first time joining us, I am a professional martial arts instructor. And part of my job is not just teaching people how to fight, because I think a lot of people think of martial arts as a means to show people like, oh, this is just a way to learn how to fight. What I want to share today is just something beyond that, because my job is not to teach people just how to fight. I want to empower people. I want to inspire people. And I just really hope the stuff I show in this video inspires you and empowers you to take charge of your safety and to be safer and feel safer, all right? So let's talk about the way we're supposed to think, right? And there's so many different resources, and my teachers, Atienza Kali, are like, they're super high level of thinking about this stuff. But I just want to kind of give some basic information regarding how to think regarding a violent situation and how to think and act when you're out and about with your family, okay? The first rule, and this is a very basic rule, just take a look around. Just take a look around at your surroundings. Basically be aware of your environment. People call this situational awareness, some people call this environmental awareness, but at the end of the day, I just call it taking a look around. Just get your head out of your smartphone, take your earbuds out of your ears, get outside of your smartphone for a second, and just take a look around at your environment, okay? Especially if you're out and about with your family. And I'm married, I have kids. I understand that it's kind of hard to track a million different things, especially when you're taking care of your own family while you're out in public. But I think it's important for us to stop kind of getting sucked into these little rectangular devices that are in our pockets all the time and watching videos all the time when we're out and about. It's important for us to be aware of where we're at, right? So if you are in a grocery store, if you are at the doctor's office, if you are at work, if you work in a school building, wherever you're at, know who is around you and what is around you, right? And a lot of people, when I tell them about this rule, they think I'm trying to promote paranoia. And one student actually came up to me and said, am I supposed to see every little thing like Jason Bourne and be able to assess every little thing? That would be awesome. If you could do that, that'd be great. But in reality, all you gotta do is just look around. And do you see anything in that environment that looks a little out of place? That's basically it, right? Like when I go take my wife and kid out to the supermarket to go shopping every once in a while, there's certain things that we expect to see. Maybe you're gonna see another family with their kids in a stroller or in a shopping cart, and they're doing their shopping, and maybe some of the workers at the grocery store are restocking the shelves or whatever. But if you're noticing kind of this weird noise coming from the side, or maybe you're hearing an argument going off that's a little louder than normal, or maybe you're just seeing something just sticks out to you, take note of that and understand and recognize that. A lot of people ignore those things. And so it's important for us to, again, just get out of our smartphones for a second, just assess our surroundings, know what we're looking at, and know who's around us, all right? And that by itself can take care of pretty much all of the violent encounters that we're seeing. If you look at the footage of, there's one that actually went viral. It's this elderly couple being attacked, but I can't recall the city. Elderly Asian couple that was attacked. I want to say it's on the West Coast. I could be wrong, but they were just walking down the street and these guys just ambushed them, right? And these criminals, frankly, are cowards. They're not Chuck Liddell. They're not some high-level black belt martial artist. They're not some special operator. They're cowards. And I say that frankly because to ambush an unsuspecting and unaware elderly Asian couple is a cowardly act by itself, but it also shows that they don't want to fight. They want to catch people off guard. That's what these cowards want to do. So I think it's really important that we are aware of our surroundings, because again, these cowards, these criminals, They're not looking for a fight. They're looking for an ambush. They're looking to simply catch you off guard when you're on your phone, you're not paying attention, and they want to attack you. They don't want to fight. All right, so it's really important, guys. Just keep your eyes and ears open, all right, and notice things around you. Take note of things around you. Now, this leads me to my second tip, which is to trust your instincts. Now, the thing is, there's a lot of people out there that talk about trust your gut and, listen to your gut. And I don't think that's actually a bad thing, all right? And I have actually had some students, especially female students, that have actually come to me for self-defense training in the past. And they've actually told me many times, and this has happened with several women, I felt something was off. I felt something bad was about to happen, but I ignored it. And usually this is, when they're encountering a male, maybe a coworker or someone that they knew before they were assaulted, right? And they had a feeling that something was off. Just a feeling, but they couldn't put their finger on it, and they ignored that feeling. And I'm here to tell you, if you feel something is off, trust it. And hey, even if you're wrong, even if you come across as awkward and like, oh my gosh, I just totally miscalculated or misjudged what this person's intentions were, that's better than you being attacked violently. So trust your instincts. If you feel something is wrong or something is off, even just for a little bit, take note of that. This kind of ties into the environmental awareness that I talked about before, right? Be aware of your surroundings, but also be aware of what's going on within you, all right? Be aware of your instincts. Be aware of that gut feeling that's telling you something feels a little off. Maybe I should separate myself from the situation. Maybe I should create some distance. Maybe I should fight back, right? Which we'll talk about in a minute. I'm getting to that, okay? So again, those are the first two things I would tell anyone. I don't care if you're a seasoned MMA champion, 8th degree black belt martial artist, or you are brand new to this channel and you've never learned martial arts a day in your life, nor do you care to even do martial arts. Those two tips, being aware of your surroundings and trusting your instincts, that goes a long, long way. I don't care who you are. So hold on to those first two tips. Now you're probably watching this video wondering, when is he gonna get to the cool fighting stuff, right? Because I'm a martial arts teacher, that's what people want to see. Again, in reality, self-defense, self-protection has less to do with learning a million different martial arts moves than it does with the first two tips that I just discussed. Being aware of your surroundings and trusting your instincts. Those two things are key. Now, once you get past that, let's say you did those two things. Let's say you were out with your family and you were aware of your surroundings, but then you noticed something was off. And something inside of you told you that thing you're observing or listening to is off. And it could be a billion different scenarios, right? For the sake of this video, we're talking about, being attacked as an Asian American. Maybe you see a group of guys kind of looking at you the wrong way. Maybe you're walking and you notice that as you walk with your family down the street, the same group of guys is still behind you, a few feet behind you, following you every time you turn. And you turn one corner and they're there behind you. Turn another corner, they're still there. And you have a feeling something is about to happen, right? Obviously, if you can get out of that situation and avoid it, do it. If you can get your family to the car and escape, go do that. I tell my students that all the time. Don't fight unless you absolutely have to. I think Bruce Lee called it the art of fighting without fighting, right? Do not fight unless you absolutely have to. But if you do have to fight, make sure that you do it right. And you have to hit back, hit hard, and be precise, and be effective. And I want to talk about now kind of going into the physical fighting realm, okay? We talked about kind of like the mindset stuff, and let's go into the physical fighting realm, okay? The first thing I would say in this particular case would be to have a tool of some kind. Now notice I said tool, not self-defense weapon. I'm saying tool because I know this video might be finding you. You might be watching this video in a state or a country that doesn't allow you to carry a weapon for self-protection. Okay, I live in Texas. We don't have that problem here, but in reality, many of you watching this may be in states or parts of the country, or parts of the world rather, that don't have the same rights to self-protection that we do here in the state of Texas. So I want to talk about carrying tools. Now, again, if you can carry a self-defense implement, a dedicated self-defense implement, a baton, a blade, even a firearm if you have a license to concealed carry, right? If you can do that, go do that, right? If you are doing it legally and you're doing it within your rights, legally within your state and your region and your country, right on, go on and do that. And I say this because when you're experiencing a real attack on the street, odds are those guys may be armed. And this is not a UFC fight where we're gonna duke it out back and forth. If I'm with my wife and my kids, I need to remember that I gotta protect them too. I'm not fighting these guys, I have to protect them. And I need to have that in my mind, right? That's something my athletic training has taught me. So it's important for us in the martial arts to kind of get out of the lone, solo, kung fu master fighting 100 different guys fantasy. And remember that if I'm going to be fighting to protect myself and my family, the bad guys may have weapons, and therefore I need something that I can use to protect myself as well. Now again, if you're in a country or a state where you cannot carry a weapon, or maybe you don't feel comfortable doing it, and I get it, right? There's a lot of you watching this that's kind of a foreign concept, and maybe you're open to it in the future, but it's still kind of foreign of a concept to you. What kind of tool could you carry? Right? And again, I'm saying tool, not weapon, because again, not everyone can carry weapons, right? But we can always carry tools, right? Things that can help make a job easier. In this particular case, self-protection, right? So the one tool that I recommend everyone carries, I don't care where you live in this world, is a flashlight. Okay, now I got this is a Streamlight flashlight. It's pretty robust. You guys can find these on Amazon and stuff like that. There's different brands. This one just happens to be a Streamlight flashlight. What I love about flashlights is that they have multiple purposes. Obviously, we have the light feature that can illuminate a room if it's dark, especially dark areas at night. That's where a lot of attacks tend to happen. Although some of these violent attacks against Asians and Asian Americans are happening in broad daylight. If you're walking to your car after work, it helps to have something that can illuminate that particular area, right? And it's really important. So this is very good for just keeping a bright light to wherever you're walking, into a dark parking lot, through your home, whatever. Also, what I love about these things is that they're safe. They're pretty innocuous. I can leave this out on my kitchen table, and my 4-year-old son can pick it up, and the worst thing that probably happen is he flashes himself with the light and he gets really disoriented. But he won't hurt himself. I can't say the same thing about a knife or a firearm or a baton or anything like that. This is extremely safe, okay, to handle. All right, so even if you've never carried a knife or a weapon of some kind, this is a really good option. So not only can I light up a room, I can also blind an assailant with this. It's extremely bright, and if I put this into an assailant's eyes, extremely bright light, they look away for a hot second, and I can either run away or I can just start whipping with this, which is the next technique, or the next topic I'm going to talk about. I can use this for hammer fist or bottom fist strikes, targeting vital areas of the body. If they try to grab me, I can attack their arms, okay? I can target the jawbone, I can target the temple, I can go underneath the chin, I can hit the groin. There's a bunch of different options I can do with this, and again, it's legal everywhere I've been. I've been all over the world. I've been fortunate to travel to different parts of the world, and I've always had a flashlight on me. Never been an issue. So carry tools. Flashlights are great. You can also do a lot of these same motions with a pen, right, in a reverse grip fashion, things like that. So again, it doesn't have to be a flashlight, but again, just have something, some item that you can use to act as a force multiplier when you're dealing with a violent threat, okay? Now, let's talk about some empty hand maneuvers that we can do. And I'm gonna bring over my coworker here. This is Bob, okay? Bob is, he's a training dummy that I have hanging around here. And I'm gonna show you some basic techniques that you can do just with your hands and your feet, your body as a weapon, just in case you are attacked. Okay, I'm gonna go over there's no list of this, I didn't write this down, this is just some stuff off the top of my head. So when I'm teaching basic self-defense strategies to everyday people, I just talk about attacking the most vital parts of the body. The first target I want to speak about is the eyes, right? And the reason why I want to talk about striking the eyes is because no matter how much you work out or how much you lift or how tough you are, the eyes are very sensitive. And if you attack the eyes, it can really take the will to fight out of somebody, right? And the basic technique I teach people is an eye jab, okay? Now there's a bunch of different artists that teach this or something like this in this fashion, but I just kind of teach people, men and women, this particular technique. So if I'm standing in front of an attacker or an assailant, or I'm in a position where I feel something bad's about to happen, I like to keep my hands open to this position here. Notice it's not a combative position, or it doesn't look like a combative position, but it is, because if you see here, my hands are up. You guys can't really see my legs in this camera frame, but I'm kind of in a crouched position. And my hands are up to protect my face, and my elbows and arms are in to protect my body. This puts me in a prime position to attack the eyes. Okay, so if I'm in this position, what I can do is I can simply just, and nothing fancy, just take my fingertips and just extend it. All right, almost kind of like I'm throwing a boxer's jab, but I'm just using my fingertips. And the thing is, a lot of people ask, well, what if I miss? Okay, if you miss, that's not ideal, but here's the thing. Anything that comes in that guy's eyes, he's gonna react. He's either gonna flinch, he's gonna try to move, which buys you time to follow up with something else. Okay, so one of the first techniques I'd like to cover is just that eye jab. Nothing fancy, just keep your hands open, extend the hand. Keep your hands open, extend the hand. Now the next technique I want to talk about is the backhand to the neck or the throat. And this is typically done, you can do it with the edge of your hand, you can do it with your forearm. Either way, it's a very devastating move because what I'm doing is I'm taking the natural motion of my arm and I'm driving into the arteries of the neck as well as the windpipe here, okay? And all I'm using is, again, it's just this anywhere from here to here. That's my striking surface. And all I'm doing is I'm simply extending my hand as I step forward. And I'm driving power into that area. The other strike I really like to do is an ear slap. Now, I teach this to kids a lot. My son's really good at this move. I learned this move as a teenager, and it's one of those moves that I was like, I gotta keep this move, right? And this move basically, again, targets the ears. So all I'm doing is I'm taking this as the target, and I'm gonna use a palm, or just a basic slap to it, okay? Now, there's some people talk about cupping the hand into the ear. That's very effective, by the way. Devastating if you do that. But you know, if you have enough power and you feel that you can make contact, either way, you can even just use a normal palm and just drive. The power to this is coming from my hips. So I'm gonna angle the camera down just a little bit, okay? And all I'm doing is driving with my waist and my feet, and I'm driving my palm into their ear. What this does, it basically creates a pocket of air that goes into the eardrum. We're bipeds as human beings, so standing up, there's this fluid in my ears that allows me to stand upright. If I hit the area of the ear, I basically take away that person's equilibrium. It's painful, it's disorienting, it's devastating, and again, no matter how much you lift, no matter how many push-ups you do, you can't toughen up the eyes, you can't toughen up the neck, the throat, but you can't toughen up the ears. All right, so I'm gonna move the camera back a little bit. I wanna talk about the final technique. And this maneuver is probably the most basic kick. I actually have a video on this if you guys kind of go back a few months ago. I have actually talked about this technique. And it's the front kick. It's the most basic kick that you'll ever use. It's the most important kick. It's the most natural kick to utilize, okay? For the sake of this video, I'm gonna start with a straight kick, either to the groin or to the stomach, okay? And all I'm gonna do is just get from that position here. I'm in my passive, seemingly passive stance. My hands are up protecting my face. My rear leg is simply going to snap out and hit the groin or hit the stomach. Now if I slow this down, all I'm doing is I'm bringing my knee up to the level of the target, and I'm simply extending my foot as it makes contact with the target. Now notice, I don't want to do super high of a kick. I'm not doing this up to the chin, right? Because the higher your foot goes, the more balance is required. I don't want to forsake my balance, especially if I'm being attacked by multiple people. So this is one of those things that if I'm seeing the attacker in front of me, I simply extend the foot out. For simplicity, I'm targeting the groin. If you have a little bit more mobility, flexibility, and power, you can target the waistline or the stomach. What I love about the front kick is that it's super easy to execute, it's natural, does require a lot of skill, and it's very effective. All right, guys, so I really hope you enjoyed that video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I can also be reached at bioniwarrior@gmail.com. If you have any training inquiries, you can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. All right, guys, take care. God bless and be the hero in your life.